Welcome to Spun in Ann Arbor, Michigan. We're going to get to interview owners Carol and Pete today, as well as take a tour around the store. The really cool thing about this location is it's located inside a marketplace. There is a coffee shop, a grocery store, and all kinds of other shops. You can come up their main entrance here on the stairs, or if you go around through the marketplace, there's an accessible ramp.
I'm one of the owners of Spun, a yarn shop in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
And we're going to take a tour.
We can start here.
Let's do it.
This is one of my favorite things in the shop. This is an old Otis elevator fixture. And when they redid the space, they really wanted to keep that in here, like the frame of it. So we turned it into sort of a display space that we sort of change out pretty regularly.
That's super cool.
On the whole, in terms of yarn, we are organized by weight.
Okay.
Right? So we go from sort of heaviest to lightest.
I love your signs because they're really easy to see, like all across the store.
Yes, that's because it's what I like.
Yeah.
Like I like going in and being able to find by the way, like I usually would go in with a project in mind. And one of the things we wanted to do is have it organized in a way that makes sense for people.
Perfect.
So they can find what they need. We help people a lot, but so they can find what they need on their own if that's what they prefer.
Exactly.
So our bulky section starts here. Over here we don't have any hand dyes, but there's Barocco and Brooklyn Tweed and Kelborn, Woolfolk Fiber Company over
Beautiful.
Here. We change out our book displays. This is where we have our drop-ins, and this grows. That's why we have the chairs there, so we can accommodate a lot of folks.
Oh, I see that. That's so nice.
Yeah. And then there's a little spillover area back there. But this is where we usually gather.
We'll be here tonight.
You'll be there tonight.
I'm so excited for it.
Register, we have all of our needles and hooks back there.
Lovely.
Here's more bulky. Malabrigo, some more Barocco, and then we also have our hand dyes here. Further back in that aisle, there's some hand dyes.
What do you have?
For hand dyes here in the bulky section, we have Emma's Yarn. We have Fiber Story, which is local.
Oh, lovely.
We have Why Not Fibers, which is local. We have Spin Cycle. And then we have a couple different Malabrigos, which isn't a hand dye, but which kind of has a hand dye vibe.
Yeah.
We have 3 different Malabrigos.
Beautiful.
And we move over to the worsted washable aisle.
Amazing.
So we try to organize our yarn again in the interest of people being able to shop easily. So we have like washable yarns are all in this aisle, and we try to keep sort of cotton summer bases together, washable bases together, and then like more rustic things that are hand washed together. So we've got cotton blends over here, and then other washable ones here, including again, like Rios from Malabrigo and a bunch of different hand dyes.
Lovely.
From Spin Cycle and Emma's, Fiber Story, Lichen and Lace up north. That's another local person.
Cool.
Why Not also local. And Madeline Tosh, and then Studio Misha and Puff. We're here, so I'm just going to say
Fiber.
We have fiber. We moved to a bigger space a few years back, and it allowed us to bring fiber in. We had a lot of requests for fiber. So we've been able to do that down here, which we've been happy about. And we have such a good staff. And one of the people on our staff is quite knowledgeable and teaches spinning classes and runs a spin-in every month for us back in this area of the shop. So that's been a really fun thing to get into.
That's super cool. That's something I want to learn eventually.
Me too.
Yeah.
I've done some drop spinning, but that's about it.
Oh, yeah, very cool.
Anyway, this is also local while we're here. This is
cool.
Felting kits. So yeah, also like a nice sideline for us. This is the non-washable worsted aisle, and there's a lot of stuff in here.
Yeah.
Kelborn and Fiber Company, Stolen Stitches, Brooklyn Tweed, Barocco, Fiber Company again, Harrisville, some Noro, Blue Sky, Woolfolk,
Yeah, you got lots of choices for everyone. This is awesome.
Well, and we try if we can. I can't have a sweater's quantity of everything all the time, but we try to make it possible for if someone wants to come in and make a garment.
Definitely.
And like we try to have enough in that there we can work with extended sizing too. That's something that's important to us.
Definitely.
And we also try pretty hard to have affordable options in all the different weights. So we have a lot of different price points in the store so that everybody can shop here.
Very cool.
We have a little cross stitch section up here.
Cute.
And some felt craft things. This has been like a nice sideline for us to bring in. And it's just gives people who are kind of coming through something to look at if they're not into crochet or knitting.
Yeah.
DK, same thing, like cotton blends here and then hand dyes toward the back. And then this side and some of that side, but this side certainly is non-superwash and a little bit more some luxury stuff and some non-luxury stuff, but not machine washable. So the superwash and washable stuff is on this side.
This is a good view, like going, like, like looking down the aisle. There's just so many choices.
Yeah, we try.
That's so good. Well, yeah, we can go on. We can keep going to sport weight next.
Same thing in the sport weight aisle. Like on this side to start out with, we have cotton and cotton blends and then hand dyes. And then we move into things that aren't hand dyes over here. We have embroidery here.
Cool.
A lot of different brands. The drop cloth samplers are really popular here. And we're working on maybe doing a class around those to teach embroidery. And then some other kits and our samples that are in the way of everything because we haven't opened it.
Yeah. So you probably have people who like just walk in or like, what is the store? And this is a great thing for them to get.
Yeah, because anybody can try this, right? And anybody can try cross stitch. Anybody can try felting. When we moved to a bigger space, we thought it was an opportunity for us to kind of have more things that more people can sort of give a shot without like kind of low risk. You know, a lot of these come with hoops and, you know, sort of just a fun way to get started.
Very cool.
Doing things.
Yeah, super cute.
We have a local dyer who does maize and blue yarn for us. I have like 2 skeins left in the sock weight.
Oh, maize and blue. That's what you call the yellow and the blue.
Maize and blue.
Maize and blue. Okay.
She does a super nice job. We there's not a lot of green between the blue and the gold, which is hard to do. She does a great job. We have other yarn from her too, but she's really, really good at what she does.
This is cool.
So a lot of this stuff here, some of it we did, but some of it's like this is self-striping the DK weight.
Is this yarn?
That is that yarn, but in a DK weight, which we're waiting on because she's got a lot going on.
That's so cool.
And the socks are self-striping.
Wow.
So we've been pretty happy with that.
Yeah, that is awesome.
And these do well for us, especially like parents coming back and a lot of alumni and
perfect for football season.
Yeah, just a little low on it right now. Then our fingering section. On this wall, it's like cotton and cotton blends and hand dyes that aren't sock yarn. Over here is, you see Pete makes all of our signs.
Oh, does he? Okay, I was wondering, like you have so many cute ones.
Yeah, Pete does that. And I don't know if he has one over the fiber too that I think is really cute.
I saw that.
So
They're really
good. This is Sockland, right? There is a lot of variety in here, including some non-wool yarns and some local yarns and some summer yarns and some self-patterning yarns. So
beautiful.
We try to hit a lot of bases here. And then this section back here, the fingering and the lace, this is sort of fingering yarn that is not hand dyed. And again, including some local stuff. And then we move sort of segues into lace, most of which is like silk and alpaca or silk mohair right now.
Beautiful. And what do you use this table for? This is a huge table.
One of our staff members, her nephew made these tables for us when we moved downstairs.
Wow.
This is where we have classes.
Okay.
And we can pull them apart, like make 2 tables or push them together depending on what the teacher wants and how many students are in the class. We can get them out of the way. Like for when we have spinning back here, we just move them out of the way.
Fun.
We do our shipping back here. We do a lot of receiving back here, but it's meant to be like a class space.
Very
People
cool.
also, if we have a lot of people also sit back here and knit together or work together or sit back here to figure out what they need to get for a particular pattern. So it's just a super useful space. So we try to have a lot of local mostly hand dyers in. Fiber Story, this person is local, Sarah. We have a couple of her sock yarns here. This is called Fave. I think her colors are so beautiful.
Is she in Ann Arbor?
She's not in Ann Arbor.
But
she's
in Michigan.
She's over in Macomb
Nice.
County. This is also Sarah. This is like a blend with alpaca in
Ooh.
it. And we have her yarn in we have a lace, silk alpaca, and we have DK and worsted, bulky, and we're about to get a sport. So
nice.
Yeah, really nice. This is another local person. She's up in the UP. We have hers in an Aran weight and in the sock weight. This is a custom colorway for us. It's Up North Yarns. Oh. This is called Getting Better All the Time. And she worked with us to do this as a fundraiser for a local LGBTQ organization. Cool. So it's gray with like these rainbow.
That is awesome.
Also local, Vesper, like knitterly things. Like, and we don't have a lot of her self-striping. I just got a shipment of this in a couple weeks ago. And it's sold already.
Oh my gosh.
So this Julie is local and she does a beautiful, beautiful job. And we also have some sock sets from her.
Yeah, those are fun. And then she did the Michigan colorway.
She does the Michigan, and then we also have her yarn in a DK weight.
Okay, nice.
And Why Not? She lives, this is from Traverse City. And we have Cat's yarn in, I love this color. I think it's beautiful.
That is pretty.
We have Cat's yarn in fingering and in sport and worsted and bulky.
Yeah.
This is local. This is AJHC Fibers. And she, this has some alpaca in it.
Oh,
so it has this nice darkness.
Yes.
And it's so soft.
Very pretty.
And this is local. This is a couple, Fibrology, and they're pretty new.
Cool.
And we have been carrying them for about a year now.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got a lot of options.
The one hand dyer that we have that is not, that we don't have sock yarn from is North Bay, Jill Zielinski. We've got her yarn. They're hand dyed, but they are, it's a Cormo base. It's so soft. We've got that and like a sport weight and a fingering weight. Which is here. And it is beautiful, beautiful stuff to work with. Really
so
nice.
A non-superwash.
Non-superwash.
Oh, worsted spun. That'll be good for a sweater.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
She's
pretty.
So we have Autumn Alexson. She's a local potter. And so twice a year she comes in with her bowls and we lay them all out on the table. And we get to pick out, I usually get 50 twice a year, and we pick out the ones we love. And she's just gotten more and more interesting, like with the shapes that she's using and the colors she's using. And she's really, it's always so fun when she comes in and brings her bowls. They're so pretty.
They're beautiful.
And she does such a nice, they're so smooth. She does a really beautiful job. So those, I love this one too. There's so many that I love, which makes sense because I picked them out.
You picked them out.
We also, I don't know if we have any in right now. Oh, here are a couple. There's a man up in Highland, Michigan. He's a retired automotive engineer, and he started woodworking, and he makes these gorgeous wooden bowls, just beautiful. And he also makes these little yarn caddies for us, and they have a little holder underneath so you can keep your stitch markers and things like that there.
And they kind of spin around.
Yeah. And,
that's cool.
Yeah, he's a really lovely person.
Very cool.
Yeah. And let's see what else. We have a lot of Michigan stuff.
Yes.
Some of which is made locally and some of it which is not. These are our bags right here.
They're really cute.
Pete designed all of these, but the Sip Sip knit, that was the daughter Rosie's worked here too. Rosie and her mom both work here, but I think Rosie designed that when she was 16.
Oh, wow.
She's really talented. She's in art school in Chicago now. We have Bluebird Makery. She's coming here for a trunk show, but she makes a lot of cute little notions and stitch markers and things like that. These are little just dishes for stitch markers. They're just cute. She's got
really cute.
Yeah. We have a lot of Michigan things, right?
Nice.
Because we like it here. Michigan stitch markers and Michigan needle gauges. This is our little Spun
That looks great.
gauge and ruler.
I think I have something from when I came here like 6 years ago. It wasn't the big one, but I think maybe a smaller. I don't remember. Maybe like this size or something.
Yeah, we used to have this little guy.
Yes, that's it. Yeah. I think I have that.
Another local bag is this Knits from My Woods. She makes these bags, right? You can see the stitch marker there is a little state of Michigan.
Cool.
And these little notion pouches too.
Cute.
There are lower peninsula and upper peninsula versions.
Oh, cool.
And then she also knew this year, sorry, I'm going to make you walk in a different direction. Here we come. This year she made these summer totes, these Michigan knitter totes that are, they're waterproof. So that's kind of nice for Michigan because we all spend a lot of time on lake shores, right?
Yeah,
so
definitely.
This is like a new thing she came out with this summer, and she and I are talking about her making a version of these that's maize and blue for us.
Perfect.
Yeah. Oh, these bags are local too. She makes these. They're cool. She uses all different combinations of fabric. Makes these cute bags. We're almost out of them, but
those are cool.
Yeah, she uses good fabric. I really like. Anyway, so that's another local bag we've got. We do have some local fiber that we. This is a woman who's traveled all over the world, and she's put together some little fiber bundles for us, and we let her sort of do what she wants to and just see if people are interested in it. She's come and done an event at our spin-in so people could try the different kinds of fiber, but it's cool blends, right? It's CVM or it's camel or it's, right? They're just more interesting than what you can find commercially. And she's super knowledgeable and we really like her. We also, this is fun. These people also came and did like a little presentation and pop up at one of our spin-ins. It's a local homestead. It's Waymeet, and they have yaks, like heritage yaks. And they let us all come out and comb the yaks. We had a little Spun field trip and we got to go meet them and like comb the yaks. And now they're kind of doing that for other folks too, and it's something you can schedule a visit, but we were sort of beta people for them, and they super interesting, and really what they're doing out there is really cool.
That's super cool.
Yeah, so.
I'm Pete Sickman-Garner. I'm Carol's husband and the co-owner of Spun.
Well, we opened in 2015, and I think we'd both of us were feeling finished with doing what we were doing at the time.
Okay, which was what?
I was copy editing for a lot of university presses.
And I was managing the art department at Zingerman's Community of Businesses.
We'd worked together 3 times. We'd worked together at 2 university presses and at a bookstore.
Yeah. So retail.
When we were first together, we worked retail. Like when we first met each other in the 90s, we worked retail a lot. So opening a shop didn't seem impossible to us, and working together didn't seem impossible to us. And we thought, well, for the last professional thing we're going to do, why don't we do something together? And at the time, Ann Arbor's yarn shops had closed.
Yeah, we had 4 when we moved here in 2000.
Yeah.
And there were none by 2014.
15.
Yeah.
Everybody just retired. And it's a pretty vibrant large community, right? The university brings a lot of people in and through, and we just like the idea of making a space for those folks.
And the person who owns, one of the owners of this development is a knitter. So when we proposed that idea, they were already.
Well, and I think we're the third yarn shop that's been in Kerrytown over the decades since it's been here. And I think they were happy to have one back again, right? So,
Is Kerrytown the building or the neighborhood here?
Both.
Oh, cool.
There's the Kerrytown district, which is the neighborhood, and includes this building and the other retail buildings and a lot of residential space around here. And then this building itself is called Kerrytown District and Shops, and there are a lot of marketing shops. there are a lot of locally owned businesses in here. December 2015?
December 1st.
Yeah.
We reopened after COVID, and then the following year in May, we moved down here.
Right. We were growing. We also really wanted to have a space where people could spend time comfortably, customers and staff. It was pretty crowded up there for the folks who work here, and it was pretty crowded up there for things like drop-in and classes. So, there was a paper store here, and they closed right before the pandemic. They were in the process of closing. So this space sort of stood empty, and it's such a nice big space. And our landlords talked to us about it and helped us figure out how we could manage to move down here. It's been a huge change, but it is a much more comfortable place for people to be than upstairs was. So that's been nice, right? We have a lot of classes. We do private lessons. We have 5 drop-ins a week, Monday through Thursday night from 6 to 8, and Sunday afternoons. And they're pretty active, pretty fun.
Yeah, and they are wide open. Anybody can come. Everybody's welcome. And we work pretty hard to make it not like somebody's knit group. So they're always hosted by Spun, and we want to make sure it feels comfortable. If you just moved to town, you walked in, you hope you can meet people, and we want to be welcoming for that person as well as somebody who's lived here 40 years.
Yeah. And one of our favorite things about it is like the age range of folks who come to the drop-in over the course of the week. I always tell young folks who come in, you should come to a drop-in, and you're not going to be the youngest person there necessarily, right? We have
It'll
a lot
probably be our daughter.
Probably be our daughter. So, that is one of the things we really wanted. We wanted a space where everybody felt like they could come spend time. We do a lot of fundraising. There are some organizations in the area that we try to work to support on an annual basis with different events. I think the biggest one we do is every November we sell samples. We sell samples either that staff has made. Usually our samples go home, they go home with the maker after 6 months, right? But if the maker decides they don't want that sample, they'll donate it to this sample sale we have. And a lot of mine go, because most of my knitting is for the shop. I also occasionally pay folks to do samples. So when those samples have kind of run their course, they also go in the sample sale, and all the money we make from that goes to We the People Opportunity Farm, which is a pretty awesome organization based in Ypsilanti. He takes people who were right out of incarceration, and he has interns, and they work on the farm. They get job training, and on this farm, and he also gives food away, and he sells to local groups, including different restaurants and grocery stores. And he's a pretty amazing person.
He is. He comes and gives a talk before the sale every year. Super inspiring. So cool. Yeah, he's doing Melvin Parsons. Yeah, Melvin Parsons. He's doing so much with one organization. Yeah. He's just one of those people. So that's probably our biggest one. We do a lot of knitting for the community in the fall and winter, and that's usually for unhoused folks like Avalon Housing and Ozone House and Knit the Rainbow, which is you've probably heard of, right? Yeah, a national group that's
supports LGBTQ youth. So
we donate some yarn. People donate their own and their time.
And then we get
them
everything where it needs to go. So I will say, like, I feel lucky to be part of a pretty cool community of yarn shops in Southeast Michigan. Right? There are a lot of great shops around here. So,
and this is a cool community of shops in this neighborhood.
In Kerrytown is pretty great.
I mean, you can, we tell people this and it sounds like a sales pitch, but you can come and spend a day in this neighborhood, lunch, dinner, all the different things to do. There's parks, the river's right down the hill. It's really nice here.
Yeah.
And there's a yarn crawl, right?
Oh, we have 3 coming up. The Heartland is coming up in July, and that is Kentucky, Ohio, Indiana, and Michigan. So that's a really big one.
84 shops.
And one of the organizers is one of the owners of a yarn shop in Milan that's about 15 miles down the highway. Then we have, what's next?
The Mid-Mitten shop hop.
And that is like, it's more like, I think 7 or 8 shops, and it's sort of from us to Lansing kind of here.
Yeah, and then down to Charlotte.
Yeah. And then we have the Southeast Michigan Yarn Shop, and that is run by the woman who owns Heritage.
Yep. Heritage Spinning and Weaving in Lake Orion.
Down in Lake Orion, and that's just in this little corner of Michigan. So usually 3 a year.
Yeah.
So pretty great, right? And pretty fun and worth it, right? Like to sort of,
Oh, yeah. One of the first things she said, when we first thought about the store, it was going to be her thing, and I was going to stay at my job because we weren't sure we could replace both incomes with this. Being in a downtown, high-profile location like this, we thought, okay, maybe we both need to jump in. And one of the first things she said was, "You'll have to learn how to knit." And I said, "Oh, okay." So I did.
He can. He's gotten pretty good. I think Pete, even before he felt comfortable with everything he was doing, was very good at knowing enough and speaking with enough confidence that he was helping people with their knitting.
Yeah, you don't have to know. He doesn't know how to knit, but he knows a lot about yarn.
Right. He could help people pick out yarn for projects and fix mistakes and read a pattern and figure out where people went wrong, even when his tension was kind of
wonky,
right? Because he was, So yeah.
Although knowing how to do it, I was just saying to Bran, I'm so much more comfortable talking to people from a position of experienced knowledge rather than received knowledge. I can overhear what the staff is saying and parrot back and think I'm probably right. Yeah. But having done it myself, it's like, oh, I could pull out my sweater and show them. So I've always drawn. I don't have any formal training. I used to draw comic books, and then my job at Zingerman's was overseeing the marketing department, which was an art and graphic design department. And I guess the first actual profession I had was graphic designer. So I always knew how to do that stuff. I drew in a meeting right before I was leaving my old job. I drew 5 little sheep sort of dancing, if you can call it that. And it was just doodling. And that became like, it's everything you see is just versions of that. And they keep popping up everywhere. But yeah, I design the things, in Adobe and send them to print shops. And that's a thing I could do confidently. Yeah. So, and a way to participate in something I was otherwise kind of paddling furiously to figure out.
He also freehand stuff though. Like we have these little Notion nooks right now up front that Pete, it started because he drew a sheep and wrote my name on mine so we could tell them apart from each other's. And now he's decorated a lot of the staff's, their little Notion nooks, including Julie's. And he's done some if customers want him to do that. If they order one or buy one and they want him to draw a sheep and write their name, he'll do that.
That's super cool.
Most of our inventory is online. It's at spunannarbor.com. And we try to keep it pretty current. We change out the front page every week. We have a project of the week every week that we buy the pattern for folks if they buy the yarn. We have a lot of kits on there that represent, that started over COVID. It was a way to have people make it so that people could buy our samples when they weren't coming into the shop. So we have a whole kit section on there that makes it easy. Like if you want a sweater or you want a shawl or you want a baby good or you want a blanket, you can go into the kit section, pick it out, and we put everything together for you.
Yeah, and everything's the sizing and the math and everything's figured out, so it makes it easier.
And it includes the pattern. We buy it online on Ravelry for folks. And we have a newsletter that goes out every Friday. And
occasionally earlier in the week. And it's pretty fun. It's got art, and we actually sit down and write
it every week. Yeah.
It's not a lot of copying and pasting. So, you know, it's a way to get to know us.